and welcome to Investment Trends, and it's a pleasure to have you on our program this evening. Now, it is a fact that exports play an important role in any economy, influencing the level of economic growth, employment, and the balance of payments. Now, the Zambia Development Agency, ZDA, in partnership with the International Trade Center, ITC, recently implemented the Promoting Intra-Regional Trade in Eastern and Southern Africa project, which was funded by the Finnish government. The project resulted in 5 SMEs attaining the Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points HACCP certification, which is a safety standard for food products. Now, tonight on the show, we discuss the impact of the project on Zambian SMEs and the economy. My guest on the program today is Mr. Jonathan Simwawa, Director Export Development at the ZDA. Hello and welcome to the program.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Right. So we're talking about SMEs, and I know that Zambia is getting to that point where we're seeing a lot more young people, I mean, even the older generation getting into businesses and starting their own thing. But just give us a brief background of this particular project, which was implemented with the various partners that you have as ZDA.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, this program was actually conceived and ran from 2014, December. We had about 20 SMEs who were pre-selected to participate in this program. The program itself also covered Tanzania, including Kenya. In each of these countries, a specific product was selected.
Okay.
For Zambia, it was honey. For Kenya, it was mango. Dried mangoes, Very good mangoes. For Tanzania, it was spices and chili. So the support was based on this, trying to say how best these SMEs, they can be helped to penetrate the international market, to improve on their quality. So our focus in Zambia was honey. And we had 20 companies who were pre-selected to participate in this program.
All right. So in terms of specific targets and the projects that have been touched on, I know that you've spoken of honey and the various ones in other countries, but what is the duration in supporting this particular project?
The project ran for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. From 2014 to 2016, end of December last year, we closed the project. And during that period, it had a number of successes in terms of how the project ran. For 3 years, and we touched several areas within the value chain to try to help the SMEs improve on their quality, in terms of quality packaging, and everything which you would get with the processing of honey. Yeah.
All right. Let us look at the medium, long-term objectives of this project. You've spoken of honey. Honey is an amazing Zambian product. I know that a lot of countries want to have access to this product. South Africa, China. But what are the plans that you have for this particular project? You
know, that project covered the SMEs in several sectors, on 2 folds actually.
Okay.
It looked at the SMEs themselves, on how they can be able to improve their production system. That was through the workshop which we called as the Lean project, the Lean production, of course conducted by Bosch. Of course, other activities which did include like the packaging, in terms of trying to get them how to know package the product, the branding. Of course, we went further on to do the marketing. We also did what is called the T&T, locally here and in Botswana too.
Okay.
The T&T is like, because honey is a product, we wanted people to test, people have to test honey itself. Then as they're testing, we also test in the market. Are they accepting it or not? So we had a range of products, a range of workshops in terms of trying to get the companies to get to where they can be able to compete. Then on the other part, the OSTRA project looked at the trade support institutions like ZDA. I had myself who were trained in terms of getting to understand the product, to be able to help after the product, after the project is over. Also, Other partners like ABF, which is Agribusiness Forum, they were also involved, including the Honey Council. The Honey Council, they were also trained to provide support to the sector.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking. You helped them market the product. You helped them to sort of add value to it. In terms of just sustaining this whole project in continuing on after the 3 years, what have been some of the suggestions from you as ZDA in supporting these SMEs? Because 3 years. You help them, they start something, then what happens after? What are the long-term objectives? Have you achieved any of those?
That is the key thing.
Yeah.
What we have achieved is that in terms of sustainability, during that period of the 3 years, we used to undertake what is called the training of trainers.
Okay.
The camp counselors. So we would undertake those trainings to ensure that at the end of the project, these people will be able to carry on, particularly when it came to HACCP and the HACCP certification and inspecting those companies where they're still adhering to what they've been told to do. So that was one part of it. That training camp counselors, they're actually Zambians, 10 of them, who are going to carry on that work. And of course, we are saying in terms of looking at the organic certification, we're trying to get on board like ZABS, to be able to develop the standards.
Right.
Anything organic, particularly the Zambian honey has been renowned for it being organic, and it's our key selling proposition. And we are saying we need to develop the standards for organic for that. And just for information, under that project, we also ITC donated a packaging machine for honey to testing the packaging to ZABS. That was one of the benefit which we got. So in the long term, certainly we are saying we need to do through the camp counselors, the training continues to monitor those companies. Yeah.
All right. What about in terms of the issue of markets? Yes, there's a market in Zambia, but not so many people eat honey in this country, as available as it may be. And I know that there are markets such as South Africa nearby here, for example, who are looking into tapping into the organic products that we have in this country. How far have you gone in making sure that you create those synergies with these SMEs in Zambia and those people in South Africa who are willing to buy organic products from Zambia?
You'll be pleased to know that, honey, not just South Africa. South Africa, it is about maybe 10% of the market.
Okay.
From the project which we undertook, first we had to expose the companies at an international forum in South Korea. 6 companies participated to expose them. That was midway through the project. The purpose was because we were looking at the value chain and the end is the market. So the first step we took was working with ITC. We did attend there at Apimodia in South Korea, where we had that honey. It's a very big conference of honey producers, equipment, and everything related to honey. Then additionally, looking at the markets all over the world, ITC signed an agreement with one of the largest honey movers of the world. They move about 25,000 tons of honey per year, Parodi from Argentina. And I'm pleased to say the actual importer came into Zambia, had meetings, one-to-one meetings with the companies. What resulted was Zambian companies exporting about 30 to 40 tons of honey. And additionally, we didn't stop there. You're talking about the South African market. You recall that the South African market was at one time saying that we can't export our honey into that country because they were able to radiate. But with achievement of HACCP, there's no way we can be able to say, look, we've achieved that certification.
Right.
And actually that opens the door, not just South Africa, but also to the rest of the world. In addition to that, we did deliberately to expose those companies who we did the pre-select, expose them to the regional market, we had a trade mission into Botswana, and 5 companies did participate into Botswana,
Okay.
where we arranged the importers in Botswana to meet the Zambian companies. So we were working towards that to see, look, this is the honey which have now been able to export it into Europe. Even before that, now we are looking at expanding those markets. I mean, with the certification of our honey, Europe is the largest market. EU has been the largest market. Germany, Sweden, all those Scandinavian countries, we are still exporting. And I'm pleased to inform you that if you look at the trend from 2014 to 2017, there has been a growth of about 51% up to 2016 in terms of exports of honey. Okay. And of course, the contribution of this project is very feasible. Looking at how these companies have really kind of achieved that, it simply opens up the market, because every market which was restricting because of the HACCP, because of saying, no, your product's not certified, it will be subjected to all this kind of treating and the rest. But now they know, because that certification is kind of a passport to enter into all those markets.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get to discuss what this means, you know, achieving this particular HACCP certification for the 5 companies, and also just looking at, other than honey, what other SMEs can you target in order to sort of push them out there, create a market for them, help them to find a market? You know, just to remind our viewers, you're watching Investment Trends, and one of the companies that participated in this particular certification project was spoken to, and let's just have a quick look at some of their sentiments, and we continue on the program.
We were amongst the 14 companies that were invited, and from that time, they continued coming. We've been with HACCP for 2 years, and through those trainings, they had the TCs who followed up when they were gone. Every time they wanted to see if we were implementing what they trained us with. And after that, they would check on what we have done with the training. And that has helped us a lot. ZDA has opened the gates for us. They've taken us to meet these people who have done the training with us. And sometimes they've come here to train other SMEs who are dealing with the processing of honey processing. So these are the people who have been in the background to open these doors for us. And as a result of that, our company has tried to maintain the standards that are required for HACCP. HACCP allows you to be accepted in the world market. Not only Zambia, but outside countries as well. So whenever people come to visit, they bring them here, which means we are following the standards that they are training us for.
Right, welcome back. You're watching Investment Trends, and that was just something to show you of what exactly we're talking about today. The certification, the HACCP certification that was achieved by 5 companies, SMEs, and also the ITC trainer who was sharing his views on this. How can you sort of put this in perspective into how important SMEs are in making an economy grow, an economy such as Zambia?
You know, anyway, SMEs are the engine of the economy. You know, and looking at what we've done with the 5, I would really like to encourage also other producers, not just in the honey sector,
right,
but any food. Any food which needs to be exported, even consumed locally, it becomes vital and key for them to attain the certificate. I know it's not cheap. Everything comes expensive. But people have to invest in a little bit time into that. Looking at the efforts which our trainers and our team took and ITC and all the money from our sponsors, just to ensure that these SMEs are able to grow, because the SMEs are the engine of the economy. 200 SMEs employing 3 people each, you're talking about 600. And it's really key for us to ensure that we keep on promoting these companies, and we keep on encouraging them, particularly for those in the processed foods. Of course,
creating the much needed jobs
yes,
in the agriculture sector.
Precisely.
Yeah. Somebody would be watching and thinking, well, this issue, you know, is only focusing on honey, and we have mentioned that it extends to other agri products as well. Just briefly take us through some of those that people can, you know, work into and just be able to put on the market.
I would give an example of even groundnuts. Just ground those small peanuts. They also need to go through that certification. The certification right becomes from the point entry of where one receives the groundnuts and the process in which it goes through. That process has to be kind of almost perfection at each and every stage in terms of hygiene. The either where you're producing, how you're packaging it.
Right.
That has to be within the right conditions. So every SME, there are times, sometimes it's disheartening to find that maybe an SME is manufacturing some good products, but at the backyard of the house. So we're saying we're encouraging them, get a place which is you're able to show clearly that this is how your production is going. Okay. You receive the items at this point. This is the point your workers clean themselves. This is the point where you do the packaging, and this is the point you dispatch in that flow.
Right. So there needs to be a mechanized system. Yeah.
Yes. That's why they had to go through the lean project, the lean production system, because it allows the flow, the clear flow of how the things are supposed to be produced. Yeah.
All right. Well, honey growers have said, well, honey farmers have said that it's much cheaper to farm honey as opposed to mining copper, because obviously with mining copper, you need heavy equipment, you need heavy trucks, you need heavy kind of you know, equipment to do that work. But for honey, it's simple. You just have some honeybees and you know, a place where you can actually keep them, and you have this wonderful product. Do we see honey taking over, you know, the bringing in forex into this country? Because when you talk about the figures, that's quite a lot.
Yes. Certainly, I would love to say, apart from that, honey itself, it's environmentally friendly.
So there are so many benefits.
There are so many benefits.
Okay.
Okay. In the long term, yes, we're looking at getting honey to be one of the key contributors to the national NTE's non-traditional exports. Of course, for our traditional copper, we need machinery and the rest. But for the honey, you certainly only need the beehive, which is less expensive. Not just that, if you look at the price of honey and copper per ton, certainly if you do about 100 tons of honey and 100 tons of copper, you get more from honey. That's a drive we're going to. And looking at honey, it is a rural-based project.
Right.
That means to provide employment to the rural population. Not just that, it also adds value to the environment, because you encourage people not to cut the trees, because bees have to get that nectar from the flowers. So that also contributes to the green economy for Zambia. Of course, giving us benefit for that.
Right. So many benefits, and most importantly, environmental ones.
It's clear.
Okay, so let's now get back to the HACCP certificate. What is the benefit for, you know, the exporters? We have this thing, it's a certificate, yes, we've been cleared. We talked of South Africa and how things have now changed. Let's talk about the benefits for the exporter.
It's a key. It's like you're given a key to open the door on yourself. Every door which was closed in terms of, you know, at times you have this kind of non-tariff measures whereby a country will put up some regulations that, you know, only these which they're able to to enter this market. What you immediately get with that is market access. You have market access to a particular market. You're able to use that to enter any market, European market, local market, because everybody is saying, yes, you have that certificate, and they have verified, internationally recognized. It's like a brand. You get a brand which is actually accepted, and you're able to export anywhere in the world, as long as you've maintained that. And mind you, every 5 years, inspectors will come to inspect whether you are adhering to that. Okay. And they will reissue you with another certificate. Right. So it's kind of a continuous process. Also helps you to improve your quality and your production. Of course, even your efficiency in terms of production.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely good news for Zambia, and of course getting the market in the SADC region.
That is key.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our export earnings, there is a kind of 80 to 20. We are mostly kind of trading within the sub-region. So hence we are targeting South Africa, Botswana, and other markets within the sub-region. We're trying to intensify that. Yeah.
All right. As we wrap up, Mr. Simwawa, just your last words to somebody out there who's in honey production, who's looking to go into honey production. And also, there's people in the rural areas, they're doing this, but they don't know where to go. They don't know how to, get to, ZDA and get information such as the one that you've shared with us today. What is your words to them?
Well, I would like to encourage for the people out there, particularly those in the rural areas, particularly those who are selling their honey along the road.
For cheap, yes. For nothing.
For cheap, for nothing, yeah. Certainly, yeah. They could add more value to that. We are valuable with my team, another team at ZDA to help them, to give them information and direct them, and help them to grow up from the street selling of honey by roadside to be able to export and be able to package that honey into the shops. And of course, that's the other part I'd like to talk about, is our chancellors. I would like to encourage them to get our local honey fully certified, organic, from the companies, those who have been certified, because they're assured of the quality. Of course, also other producers, I would like to encourage those who are producing other products to ensure that they're able to get that certificate, but particularly for those looking at the export market, not just export market, but also at the local market. It is key that certificate is attained and maintained.
Right. Well, Mr. Simwawa, thank you so much
for
coming through to the program. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I'm very inspired to get into honey production now.
Do so, please.
All right, and for you too at home who's thinking, well, this seems like a very good business idea. You have the information right here. Alternatively, you can also visit ZDA offices and just get as much information as you can. For our brothers or sisters or cousins in the village, in the rural areas who are producing honey and just making sure that they're farming this wonderful golden product, get the right information, understand that it's very valuable. It's a very, very, very valuable product. I was talking to Mr. Jonathan Simwawa, who's the Director Export Development at the ZDA, and we were focusing on the impact of the project, which is the HACCP certification that we acquired, 5 companies acquired on Zambian SMEs in the economy. Join us next week for another interesting topic on investment trends. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.